Effects mic test 1 2. Effects mic test 1 2. Effects mic test 1 2. All good.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to round number 6 of the NPL New South Wales Women's Premier League competition, live and exclusive to the Football New South Wales YouTube page. Ashley Borg, Borgie the broadcaster on Instagram, with Stephen Roberts on the camera. Our big game today, live from the Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility, is the Newcastle Jets and the Illawarra Stingrays. The Stingrays in third position, undefeated so far, 3 wins, 2 draws. They've been in very good form. And a win today sees the Stingrays take the lead in the early race for the title. Last time they were at Lake Macquarie, however, it took an astonishing free kick from Alicia Murinen, who no longer is in the setup of the Illawarra Stingrays to the best of my knowledge. They'll be looking for a point or 2 points more than that today. The longest trip in the New South Wales NPL competition. It's almost our version of the A-League's distance derby between Perth and Auckland. Sees the two sides play today. The Jets will be very, very disappointed. They've had 2 very close losses. 4-3 loss last week against the MacArthur Rams after leading twice. And also a 3-2 loss to a wonder goal from Anita Zordan in the 93rd minute to the right-hand side. So the Illawarra Stingrays will be in their pink Guernseys. They're quite colourful Guernseys. Are very easy to spot from the cherry picker. Amongst the black numbers there, you can see the goalkeeper Kiara Roche in the 31. That is a terrific goalkeeper shirt, mind you. Running from left to right by the looks of things, the Newcastle Jets will run from right to left in this first half. Get some quick numbers here for the Jets. India Bry returns to the side. Alexis Collins normally wears the number 6 shirt, but she'll be wearing the number 6 shirt today. And I've finally been told the pronunciation of the number 40, the goalkeeper. It's Ali Borsch, so apologies to her parents. And hopefully we get it right for you today. For the Illawarra Stingrays, Alexia Karastal in the 10 will be one to watch, as well as former Matilda Caitlin Cooper in the 15. So we're off and running here in round number 6, live and exclusive to the Football New South Wales YouTube page from Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility. India Breyer will carry the 2, Isabella Threlfo the 5, Alexis Collins in 3, Kate Heap 7, Emma Bates 9, Layla Sharp 10, Nava Crofton 11, Lacey Dobson 21, Milan Hamid 24, Chloe Willandau 27 and 40, Ellie Borsch for the home side. For the away side, travelling all the way up the Illawarra, as we see the number 80, Siobhan Edwards. Siobhan Edwards scores. That is a wonderful start to the game. 50 seconds in. And it was just a simple ball down the right-hand side. Siobhan Edwards did a marvellous job to finish that off in front of Ali Borsch. And we're 1-0 after a minute. So to recap the side for the Illawarra Stingrays, well, we know who number 8 is, Siobhan Edwards. You've got 4 Poppy Hooks, 7 Chloe Middleton, 10 Alexia Karastal, 13 Kalia Austin, 15 Caitlin Cooper. As we see a ball from over the top, Emma Bates will be delivering those all evening. 16 Genevieve Nisbet, 19 Layla Etherington, 20 Ella Giles, 30 Hayley Bicknell, interesting player from the United States, and 31 Kiara Roche, who delivered some magnificent saves just a few weeks ago. Weak touch there. I reckon if Edwards had chased that down, she might have got that. Chance on the ball here now for the Jets, who have probably their most disappointing start to the year, conceding in the first 45 seconds. Etherington, nice touch. Middleton on the ball for Illawarra. That sun playing havoc with us and the cherry picker. Not so much the players. You can see the shadows creeping over now. Threlfo, loose touch. Great ball in. Opportunity for Etherington, cleared away. They're really struggling early here, the Jets, but Nice touch there, and we've got a late number change, and I'll have to try and make as best I can with that one. Wasn't told about that one at the start of the game, so see how we go here with the number 28 for Newcastle. So that one runs into touch. Just going to have a look at the lineups on our dribble page. 28 is India Breyer, so the number 2 goes to the 28. That makes my life a lot easier indeed. As Ali Borsch's touch was a little loose there, but gets away with a goal kick. Looking for India Breyer to run down the touchline at the rate of knots, but can't find the India if she hasn't got the number 2 on, so we'll go for the 28 instead. That ball goes over the top. Collins is going to do a lot of this bullocking, chasing work in this game. As I said before, Illawarra Stingrays, they have the best defence in the competition. They've only managed to score 7 times this year, including the goal today. They've had 2 goalless draws. One against the Northwestern Sydney Spirit and one against Mount Druitt Town Rangers, the newcomers to the competition who sit 4th. Bit more steady to this game, but Illawarra have put the pressure on early. They've come to Lake Macquarie to get all 3 as Etherington now gets onto it. Edwards and Cooper in the middle. Borsch gets a little punch away. Landau now to steady for the Jets. As I said before, the Jets, the media team have called the Jets the entertainers of the NPL this season. They've scored a stunning amount of goals this year compared to what they have in the past, but they're still leaking way too many. They've leaked 12, including today, but it's still not as much as the Premiers from last year. The three-peat champions, MacArthur, as we've got Alexis Collins here, and that was well covered by Kiara Roche. It's unbelievable to see the apparent fall from MacArthur Ems. Even though they beat the Jets last week 4-3, they conceded 3 goals, and in 5 games they've conceded 16. They conceded 6 last night. In fact, in a 6-1 rout, they scored the first one, and then Northern Tigers hit the next 6. Hayley Johnson continuing her great scoring streak since moving from Victoria, scoring another double. Must love being in New South Wales, Hayley Johnson, I have to say. Throw in here to Kalia Austin. Wonderful touch, Edwards. Cooper just rides the bump. That was sensational off Crofton. Referee's got a decision to make here. Players tumble to the field, and ref says play on, ladies. Turnover here, Dobson. And that was very well done indeed. Cooper looking to inject herself into this game. What a talent. Former Matilda. 140 A-League games in the women's grade across 5 clubs, or 4 clubs. The experience they'd learn from her would be fantastic. Good mix of young and experienced talent in the Stingrays. They'll be looking to go all the way this year, especially with the start. So that ball runs into touch. But just haven't gotten going yet, the Newcastle Jets. We've seen much better starts from them in the past 5 weeks. This has probably been their most lacklustre start. It's almost as if they haven't gotten out of the dressing rooms yet. Been fairly outplayed here by the Stingrays in the first 7 minutes. And Siobhan Edwards made them pay for a very poor start. Here she is again, Siobhan. The sun starts to come over the trees here at Lake Macquarie. Cooper to Etherington. Tried to feed. Probably should have gone the wide ball to Alexia Carristal. Or Carristal. The Football New South Wales page, she's of Greek origin, Alexia. There's Collins on the ball for the Jets now, back to Orlando. And the quarterback, given the nickname, and not sure it's stuck within the academy, but I'll take it. Emma Bates. Look for Emma Bates to launch long balls forward at will, as that's a wonderful touch. And turned by Dobson. Ball out wide. Breyer feeding, finishing nearly. That's come off the keeper and off the post. And then Alexis Collins just couldn't finish it. Golden opportunity for Newcastle and the keeper's down. Tell you what, Kiara Roche has made a miraculous save. And she's kept the lead for Illawarra. No wonder the Jets signed her in 2023. And I read a comment on an Instagram page this morning, actually. It said, why she's not playing in the A-Leagues, I'll never know. But based on that save, I have to agree. Still 1-0 here, Illawarra. Kiara Roche, a magnificent save. It was a terrific ball from Breyer. Hit with absolute pace. Collins steered it in the right direction. It came off the keeper, off the post. And just as my esteemed colleague here on the camera, Stephen Roberts, said, he said, within the first 15 minutes, Ash, you won't have any more sun in your eyes. Might be time for a quick glasses change here. There's Middleton on the ball now for the Illawarra Stingrays. You could see the fluidity in their movement. There's a free kicks given there to the team in pink. Stingrays lead at 1-0 here at the Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility. 10 minutes gone in this contest. Hope you're enjoying all the action. It's been breakneck speed early. Just what we like to see. Hoisted in the air and now an opportunity. It's gone too far forward. Etherington's been in it early. She's been very lively on the wing there, up forward. Back pass Emma Bates on the steady. That's dangerous. Edwards cuts it. Cooper! What a hit! That is magnificent! That's the quality you expect from the A-League maestro of 140 games. Caitlin Cooper makes it 2-0. 11 minutes gone. That was magnificent. Saw the keeper off the line and just went for home. Jets are going to need to tighten up here. That was wonderful. Well, you're excused for thinking that the Jets haven't come out of the change rooms. They have been very lacklustre. Not sure where the referee is here. I think the keeper's gone down, yeah, so not sure if Stephen's got that in the background there. He may have the opportunity to zoom right in here on the bench. And the goalkeeper for Illawarra, Kiara Roche, after making a terrific stop about 2 or 3 minutes ago, has gone to the sideline for treatment. We're going to have a brief stoppage here. I think she's getting her hands strapped. I'm just going to have a look through these binoculars and looks like the fingers are getting a tape up. Brief summary of this contest, and it's very brief and doesn't need a lot. 48 seconds into the game, Siobhan Edwards scored on the right-hand side of the post. Very lazy defending to make it 1-0 Illawarra. And Caitlin Cooper has just hit an absolute beauty over the top to make it 2-0 within a space of 11 minutes. The Jets have a very small mountain to climb. Kiara Roche signals her readiness to continue, and the referee says, let's go. Expected a very good contest today. We're not quite getting one from one way. We're getting a beautiful display of football from the other end. Here goes Etherington now off her line. Bortier, she's going to have a go. Borsch has to get back there. I excuse the habit of saying Bortier, so it's Borsch in goal for the Jets. Stingrays are just swarming. Might be called the Illawarra Snipers the way they're working at the moment. They're just absolutely all over the Jets. Over the top to Etherington. Edwards in the middle here. Etherington's going to get it. Bates covers. And all she can do is put it over the sideline. Absolutely no options here. Stephen Gordon would be absolutely ecstatic. They came with a game plan. They had to take the Jets out early, and they've done that. 2 goals to the good already. We know the Jets have scored heavily this season, or they've scored a lot more than they have in the past. But after 14 minutes, it's already 2-0. Free kick to be taken here by Alexia Karastal, former Central Coast Mariner and Canberra United player. Plenty of plays in a box. How's the delivery? Great delivery. Struggling to clear it now, the Jets. Dobson. Can she get the exit ball? Tried to Milan Hammond. And waiting in the wings, Genevieve Nisbet goes all the way back to the keeper. Very organised defence. Hammond on the right-hand side today in the 24. Scored a double last week against MacArthur, but it wasn't enough. Got some interesting other fixtures this evening. Sydney University versus RPL Leichhardt, 14th versus 5th. We've got 13th place Sydney Olympic against 2nd place Manly United. Probably see a Manly United win there based on the results this year. And we just have another look here as the Stingrays go forward again. Edwards cleared out by Kate Heap. Corner to the Illawarra Stingrays. 4th place Mount Druitt Town Rangers play against 10th place Gladesville Ravens, and probably the match of the round in terms of ladder position is 6th place Western Sydney Warriors versus 7th place Uni New South Wales. I'll get in touch with you with 2 results very shortly. But we have a corner to Illawarra here. Could this be 3? Bit high on the delivery. Referee says goal kick. So 2 results last night. The North Western Sydney Spirit moved up to 8th with their 2nd win of the season, defeating the Bulls FC 2-1. Sky Helmrich scored a double either side of Ashley Brodigan for the Bulls. And the massive result this week, one that no one would have picked, is Northern Tigers 6 defeated MacArthur Rams 1. Hayley Johnson scored another double in a rout after Claire Corbett scored in the 6th minute for MacArthur to put them 1-0 up. That's a poor ball from Borsch. Edwards. Karastal. Back to Middleton, back to Karastal. Edwards, that was Cooper that tried to play it to Edwards. Turned over again. And a chance across the goal. Just missed. They are in everything at the moment, the Stingrays. Propped and ready to attack. I think that may have been Kalia Austin on the shot across the goal on the 13. Well, they're going to have to do something here, the Jets. Ryan Campbell's here this evening. He wasn't here the last time the 2 sides played. That's actually Hayley Bicknell that would delivered that last ball. She's the young American, the 27-year-old who played in the 3rd tier of American football, the Women's Premier Soccer League for the UKFC in Richmond, Virginia. Should be a free kick and is. To the Jets, the 2nd real scoring opportunity here, or chance to even do something. They've been completely shell-shocked. "17.5 minutes gone, and it's 2-0 already. Over the football is India Breyer. Plethora of players in the box here for both sides. Delivery's very good, almost getting to the front. Middleton clears. Chance to break with Bicknell. That looks like a foul on Hammond. Bit of a cynical one, really, from Bicknell. She was beaten. That was her touch that caused the ball to go away. Lucky not to get a yellow card for mine. A few sirens in the background, a bit of smoke blaring. Oh, here we go, got the fire truck coming straight past. Looks like Breyer on the ball again here with those pink boots. Will she take a more direct strike this time? They need to hit the scoreboard. That was a thunderbolt there, but it just hit the wall. Back in now from the Stingrays, trying to cut it off Crofton. Stingrays get away. Walando cuts off. Not a good ball from Heap. It puts Borsch under pressure. Turnover ball back to Nisbet. Out to Bicknell. Look at the pace on her. Taking on Threlfo. Inside to Middleton. Middleton to Cooper, who scored a brilliant goal about 5 minutes ago, 7 or 8 minutes ago. Etherington with good skills and touch. Austin. Ball in the box, not bad. How's it going to drop? Off the head of Sharp. Back out to Breyer. Quick release needed. Collins was on then. She had to halt the run. Breyer controlling and steadying back to Nava Crofton. Out to Wallando. Ball over the top. Not too bad. The touch of the head. It was a little dangerous there off Poppy Hooks, but Kiara Roche is reading all the attacks like a book at the moment. Safe as houses at the back, and 3 clean sheets from her. You can see why they've only conceded 2 goals this season, the Stingrays. Transition from defence to attack, superb again from the Stingrays. Etherington's the one they want to find, but the ball just didn't match the endeavour. 20 minutes gone here at Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility. Hope you're enjoying all the action on the Football New South Wales YouTube page. Ashley Borg here with Stephen Roberts and the Illawarra Stingrays. Locking in their premiership aspirations early on in the season with a 2-0 scoreline already after 20 minutes. Siobhan Edwards scored after 48 seconds, and Caitlin Cooper, the former Matilda and Central Coast Mariner, and 4 other teams, Canberra United, Sydney FC, Western Sydney Wanderer. She scored a brilliant goal after 11 minutes, chipped the keeper with absolute accuracy. They've just got absolutely nothing at the moment in attack, the Jets. They've been very well marshalled. Poppy Hook's one of them. Ryan Campbell looking for answers here early. Another mishandle there another miss effort there by the Jets. How's this one going to work this time? Bryce sends it into Collins. At the back, Hammond. Was worth a go. It's about as good as they've been able to manufacture, apart from the golden edge chance that Kiara Roche saved magnificently in just before the goal was scored. Or the second goal was scored anyway. Bit about Kiara. 25 years old, originally from Blacktown City via the MacArthur Rams. And she's getting a real go in the Illawarra team in first grade and relishing this opportunity. 3 clean sheets this year. She was signed to the Jets in 2023 as we see Cara Stahl. Blistering pace to Bicknell. Bicknell taking on the defender Heap. Sending it through, and Borsch takes the clean grab. Goes the big throw to Breyer. Nice touch, takes her around. Austin. And then Austin gets backed up, and that's superb from Caitlin Cooper. You see the experience there. Just put the body in the way, didn't she? Well, the Jets have got absolutely no answers at the moment to every question that's being asked of them by the Stingrays. dictating the terms, dictating the pace. Etherington again. They're being cut up so easily by the Stingrays. Etherington maybe shoot. Middleton possibly. Takes a touch. Should have a go. Tries to get around Bates. Bates does the business while Landau clears away. Dobson just hacks it out of there. Austin sends it back in. Bicknell. Probably not a good option for arguably the shortest player on the field. And they clean up again. They start again through Threlfo, the Jets, but it's been an absolute onslaught here by the Stingrays. That is too much to ask of India Breyer. She looks very frustrated. That's a good, solid challenge by Breyer. Trying to fire up her teammates. A little bit of a shoulder in there just to say she means business. Karastal. That's an awkward one. Bicknell. Borsch gets in there and does the job. So Hayley Bicknell in the 30s. She's from Corning, New York in America, in the United States. 27-year-old. We'll get back to that in a second. Here as that ball comes out to Bry now. Collins streaming in the box. You've got no one on her if they can find her. Collins! Can't finish. That was a very tame finish from Alexis. Still 2-0. Could have easily been at least 2-1. Quick play down the field now, Edwards. This is end-to-end stuff. Etherington in the middle if she goes early. Etherington. Borsch gets in there and collects. Goodness. Breathing is optional at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this game. It's end-to-end at the moment. There's another long ball from Breyer, and I think she was just playing catching practice for Kiara Roche. So Hayley Bicknell from Corning, New York, USA. She has played all 4 games this year. Central midfielder. He's playing more on the wing in this game, but we've got Collins there. Can she go off the left this time? Oh, magnificent stop. Kiara Roche saw it all the way, put the 2 mitts on it and put it over for a corner. Third go at it. Hayley Bicknell graduated from Niagara University and played her football for the UKFC in Richmond, Virginia in the Women's Premier League Soccer, the 3rd and 4th tier of football in America. So very highly credentialed is Hayley Bicknell. As we see the corner here from Newcastle and need a response. Bry can shoot. No, takes the touch. Brings it in. And Roche over the football again. She's had 3 key stops in this contest. And that's why the Illawarra Stingrays are currently top of the league as it stands right now. She's been immense in front of the sticks this season for the Stingrays. 3 clean sheets, as we said before. If they get past it today, the Jets, they'll know they've done well. Landau creating, running wide. Collins in the middle. Well defended. That was terrifically done, Ella Giles. Throw in Newcastle. And that's come off a Jet's head. Let's say that's Breyer. Pink boots give it away, India. 27 minutes gone in this contest in the Illawarra Stingrays. I knew I'd get trapped with that today. Absolutely knew it. The Stingrays lead at 2-0. Not the best touch from Collins, but Bry made it look like it was a pinpoint one. Bry now sends it into the practice pitches off the field there. Disappointing delivery from her. She's been very good this evening so far. Probably seems like one of the rare ones at the moment with Alexis Collins that actually wants to go forward for the Jets. If I'm being honest, it's been quite a lacklustre display so far. This is the same team, or only one addition really, that pushed last year's Premiers 4-3 last week and Manly United 3-2. Etherington is on her own if they can get it to her. Ball from Edwards. Wallandale with the intervention. Bicknell came flying through at a rate of knots. Stuck the boot out. Almost got there. Release ball. Hammond. Nice trickery to get around. Think that was Cooper that she got around then. Trusty cameraman there, Stephen Roberts, just making the comment that Milan Hammond needs to get into this game. And she's caught behind again. Poppy Hooks is wearing her like a glove at the moment. Working extremely hard off the ball there. This is Bryan now. Collins working up and down the pitch. That pass was way too slow. Chance for Sharp. Now, this is what Kate Heap likes to do, is get out wide and run, but Nisbet absolutely knew what was coming. Hurt her foot in the process, but she should be okay. We're into the 30th minute here at Lake Macquarie, and it's still 2-0. The shell shock of the first two goals inside 11 minutes has passed, and both teams relatively even at this point, apart from the two goals. Mishandle there from Austin, who then recovers, gives it away to Wallandale. Wallandale. Collins. Turn and shoot possibly. Heap. Heap driving, shooting, missing. It's a little bit better from Newcastle. Kate Heap needs to drive a little bit more. She started doing that in the last minute or two. To be honest, she hasn't really been allowed to. She's got to track a very quality player in Hayley Bicknell. Sneaking up forward there is Middleton, and they find her on the wing. Threlfo with a bit of intervention there. And the triangle ends up back to Threlfo. And Borsch will relish a little bit extra time to release it. Bates screaming at a midfield to get moving. Too slow again with the ball. That was an attempt on the outside of the right foot, and Kalia Austin read it. It's all over it like a rash. Collins. Or is that Bryan? No, it is Collins. Cooper, steady touch in the midfield there to experience. Just watched Cooper for about the last 2 minutes. All she's doing is just tracking a little bit inside the circle and getting around that middle of the park. Doesn't do a lot, but gee, what she does is very effective, as that ball's brilliant to Etherington. Edwards in the middle. Cooper at the edge of the box. Might go first time here, Cooper. Superb attempt. Borsch with the save. And that's what she's good at doing. It's that box-to-box stuff where she just drifts in and out. The Jets need to watch up. All that A-League experience and those 10 games for the Matildas. It's just amazing to have someone on the pitch with that sort of experience. She just drifts in and out of the game, doesn't do a great deal, and then all of a sudden she's in the right space. Here you go, the Stingrays again. Etherington, I'm debating whether she's had any opponent on her this evening. She just seems to be running very free. Cooper to Edwards. Middleton, Bicknell gets the touch to work away from the opposition. Nisbet drifts up. Nice byplay here. The Stingrays cut out eventually. Hammond was on her heels. Probably indicative of how she's gone this evening. Middleton goes to ground, and pretty disappointing stuff there from Hammond. Gives away the free kick. Opportunity to take off the hat and get rid of the sunnies as the sun completely goes behind the trees now to Very pleasant evening here now in Lake Macquarie. It was 28 degrees during the day. Quite a warm day. Here goes Cooper. Out to Etherington, and Bates will cover this one. They might go back to Bates here. Borsch is in, just taken one too many touches. Dobson goes through. Nisbet reads it. Collins. Hammond just looks a little bit off the pace there. Not quite reading the game plan so far. Game's not lost. As we tick over to the 34th minute of this game, the Jets have gotten into it. And they've created a couple of chances. Kiara Roche has made some terrific stops to keep her side at 2-0. But they're getting cut open quite too easily, way too easily. And Nisbet just catches Hammond off task again. Ryan Campbell might need to give his Chargers a wake-up call in the change rooms at half-time, because they're a lot better than this, and we've seen a lot better than this season from the Newcastle Jets. Stingrays just playing it around the park at will here as Middleton strolls around Dobson, delivers a brilliant through ball. Bicknell. Borsch has to come out, and the synthetic pitch probably helped her on that one. Sharp, that touch, not so, by Dobson, who just gets out. Dobson now goes. Collins trying to make that run through the gap. The ball was good, but you can see the three defenders there from the Stingrays. Every time that ball comes in, they collapse inward. And Kiara Roche comes in forward, and there's no space at all for Collins to work. Don't know if this is their normal structure, or whether it's been terrific scouting by Stephen Gordon and the Illawarra Stingrays coaching staff, but it's worked a treat so far in the first 35 minutes. Orlando's got a bit more space than she otherwise has today. To Breyer. Cuts inside. Heap needs to move, and she does. Breyer finds her with a neatly timed ball. Can she keep it in? Does now. Nisbet to beat. Heap and Nisbet. Back and across to Breyer. Might want to take a hit from here. She's got a bit of space. Trusty left, takes one, blocked. Look at that resolute defence from the Illawarra Stingrays. They're just so compact. Been the most impressive defensive unit we've seen here at Lake Macquarie this season. That's for absolute certain. They look impenetrable. They've only conceded twice, and you can see why. Middleton just crashes and bashes like a prop forward trying to crash through the line at McDonald Jones Stadium. Etherington now streaming into the box. Etherington takes the shot, hits the goal. That's 3-0 to the Stingrays. They're on absolute fire here at Lake Macquarie. Doing it easy, and the crowd love it below me. Stingrays 3, Jets 0, 36 minutes. Layla Etherington with a bullet. And she is the only multiple goal scorer for the Stingrays this year, the 19-year-old. It's her third goal for the season to head the goal scorers for the Stingrays. Well, doing a bit of a summary before the game, they were struggling in front of goal. Well, try telling that to the Stingrays forwards. They've got 3 in 36 minutes. Anything that could have gone wrong today for the Jets has gone wrong. It's almost reminiscent of what we saw last year and the years before with these sort of score lines. We've just got to hope, if you're a Newcastle Jets fan, that the Jets can get back into this one. No more goals until half-time. And then Ryan Campbell gives the big pep talk, and the girls come out steaming like a squadron of Jets. On current form, on the current evidence of today's game, you just can't see it. See the scoreboard in the background, I think, at 7 minutes and 20 seconds to go. There'd probably be at least a minute, maybe, of stoppage, 2 minutes for the injury to Kiara Roche before. She looks quite fine. She hasn't had to do a great deal since, to be perfectly honest. She may even like that very much, I'd suggest. Goalkeeper's best game is when they've got to do absolutely nothing. Free kick, Newcastle. Ali Bohr should be a little bit disappointed about that third goal. It went straight past the right mitt. She's been good in previous weeks with the saves. That one was a little bit off par, and I'd say it's probably reminiscent of all of her teammates today, to be perfectly honest. Bry's been one of the rare shining lights this evening so far. And she earns her team a throw-in. This young Jets side, they've learned a lot over the past few years. They've taken some big beatings. They've learned some lessons along the way. They've gotten themselves older and fitter and picked up some new players. And their first 4 or 5 games, whilst they've only won 1, they've been very encouraging. Today's performance so far would be a little bit gut-wrenching for the coach. Sharp with a nice turn. Working it into Hammond, who props off the right foot. Believe it's come off Middleton there, and very easy pick up for Roche. There's Emma Giles, who's 21 years old, played 80 games for the club and scored 10 goals across all competitions in the 20. She was a combined high schools representative not long ago, probably about 3 or 4 years ago, Emma. Just a very compact defence. They say defence wins your championships. Although Jeff Thompson, the former Australian cricketer, famously said that defence is where you put the sheep and the cows in. But tell you what, the Stingrays, they've used defence as a form of attack. And they're building a potential premiership run off this. They're the best side we've seen at Lake Macquarie this season to date. And that is without doubt. There have been 3-4 sides that have come here now. Northern Tigers, Bulls FC, Manly United and Illawarra. And Illawarra by far the best side we've seen. Bry's just fouled Austin then, trying to weave a bit of magic around. And don't think Stephen Gordon and the Stingrays will want to go to the change rooms at halftime. They've been magnificent in this first half. They've been sublime, really. The Jets, they'll want their 10 or 15 in the change rooms just to settle and see if they can recover. Could be an irrecoverable mission here, almost like the Titanic. As Bichtel gets on, she could go first time. Goes to Edwards with a bit of space. Close space, here's Cooper. Across the goal. No one's picking Caitlin Cooper up at the top of the box. I think maybe Layla Sharp might need to push a little bit further down. She's been given a very good lesson here tonight. As Alexia Karastal almost got in there for some action. Brian now to Sharp, who does well going the other way, but it's when that gets turned over, she seems to lose her opponent. Seems to follow the football rather than track the opponent. Breyer, look at that from Caitlin Cooper. That was majestic. Holding off the defender. Etherington, who hit a bullet. She'll be wanting another. Crofton to Orlando to Breyer. And it's off Middleton and out for a throw to the Jets with 2.5 minutes until the regular time for the first half, which sees the home side down by 3. Something, to be perfectly honest, I didn't expect. I Drove down the Hunter Expressway this evening or this afternoon expecting a very good contest, a close contest. Stingrays have come here and, dare I say it, put a sting in the tail. That's untidy ball, but it gets to Breyer in the end. Breyer's a left footer. She's got to shape it around. Here's a run from Heap now. Nisbet tracks her all the way. Good ball in, but it's looked promising, but it was just not hit with the skill that it needed to be hit with. Kate Heap. It's probably the first game that we've seen at Lake Macquarie where she hasn't been as attacking as she normally has. So they had a 2-1 loss at the first game of the year, the Jets, and then they had the washout against, well, I call it a washout, but it was more of a heat wave against Northwestern Sydney, which they'll have to replay at some point. As Wallendow tries to go around Etherington, and she's done a great job getting back. No one there for the Jets. Cooper looking for the release. Releases it defensively. So then after the heat out, or the heat wave, they snatched a magnificent 3-2 win over Bulls FC with a great goal from Alexis Collins at the death. Then the roles were reversed in round four when it was a heartbreaking loss as Hammond goes to strike over the bar. That was a better piece of play from Hammond. And then round four, the Jets, so after they defeated the Bulls FC, round four they came in and they were a player up against Manly United and 2-1 up, and in space of 12 minutes they were beaten, and the strike from Anita Zordan would be an early contender for goal of the season. And then last week, goals by Claire Adams and a double from Milan Hammond weren't enough to stop Tia Musensky and Sakura Nojima with their doubles as they won the match 4-3 against the Jets. So at the moment, they're sitting in 12th spot. As I was saying to Stephen off camera, actually Stephen was saying to me off camera, he said if the Jets had at least taken one of those games, they'd be sitting mid-table, and they absolutely would. So we go to the dying stages here. We're in the referee's hands for the whistle to go to half-time. And the Jets, Stingrays, have taken the absolute sting out of this game as the offside flag goes up. And that would have been some ball to Etherington, who could have finished off. So a summary of this one so far. Siobhan Edwards scored in the 48th second to make it 1-0 to the Stingrays. Caitlin Cooper with a miraculous strike over the top at 11 minutes to make it 2-0. And Layla Etherington with just as good a strike from range to make it 3-0 to the Stingrays. There have been some good chances for Newcastle at the other end, with Alexis Collins hitting the post off Kiara Roche, and she's made 2 or 3 very good stops, Kiara Roche, but apart from that, the Jets have been shell-shocked. We're into the second minute here of injury time. Not sure here. The referee's got something to say to one of the players, I think. Yeah, believe it's India Breyer. Yeah, the referee's just not going to take any of that nonsense. Just settle down, he says to India. You're better off on the pitch than off it. Scoreline could be a lot worse if India Breyer wasn't on the pitch, I could say that much. She's been one of the better players for the Jets this evening. It's turning into a lovely evening here at Lake Macquarie. A little bit of breeze. And here comes Breyer now. Can they get one before the half? That's a nice bit of move again from India. Low ball, low hard ball cleared away. Referee says we've still got some time. 2 minutes have elapsed. Cooper playing the role of sweeper back there. And well, that's half-time. The Jets have been absolutely stung by Illawarra. They are 3 goals behind. Goals to Edwards, Cooper and Etherington make the scoreline at half-time. Illawarra Stingrays 3, Newcastle Jets 0. Can the Jets make some form of impact in the second half, or will Illawarra make it a cricket score? We'll be back in the next 10 minutes to find out. Ashley Borg and Stephen Roberts for Football New South Wales. Welcome back to half-time here, the second half at Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility. Bit of a shock to us in the commentary area, really, but I wouldn't say it's a shock to the fans of the Illawarra Stingrays. They're in front by 3-0. Goals to Siobhan Edwards in the first minute. Caitlin Cooper with a brilliant goal after 11 minutes. And Layla Etherington with something just as special after the 36th minute. Expecting some changes here for Newcastle, but don't see any at this stage. And I don't see any for the Illawarra side either. They're going to be running from right to left in the second half and looking to kill this game off with an early goal in the second if it isn't already killed off. And we're already underway here in the second half with the side in pink. Absolute favourites here as Middleton's gone down. I'm not sure what happened there. She looked at the referee, but she's gesticulating to the referee actually for something that's happened there, but the referee's just said play on. Heap. They need to be better in this second half. There's just no excuse for what happened in that first half. I know the Stingrays were good, but the Jets really just did not switch on. They haven't had an answer to the defensive capabilities of the Stingrays. And I read at the halftime break that Stingrays like to be independent or individual. But they're certainly not that at the moment. They're playing beautifully as a team here, Illawarra. Touch from Bickwell just was under hit. Found 14 fun facts about Stingrays, and I'd say 13 of them are probably no use to me in the commentary era, but the one fact I did find was they were independent creatures. They're definitely not independent at the Stingrays of Illawarra. Might be one of the rare breed of Stingray that works as a team and senses their prey. This is Edwards looking to snuff out any potential threat from the Jets. Emma Bates, probably her quietest game for Newcastle in that first half. In the 9 for the side in gold, the home team. She's been so good for them this season. They haven't given her a chance at all. Quick throw in over the top. Sharp comes in to intervene. It almost looked like a handball. Play on, says the referee. Cooper now. She makes pace when she needs to. Cooper beautifully fed to Edwards. And Borsch gets in there. So Borsch, as I said, she was disappointing for the third goal. The second goal was just a beautiful hit from Cooper. And the first goal, she was caught off guard because the midfield just didn't track back enough to keep Siobhan Edwards out. So I'd probably hold her culpable for 2 of the 3. The one in the middle was sublime from Caitlin Cooper. I won't say it beat the goal we saw a couple of weeks ago from Anita Zordan, but come pretty close. Depends on what the judges like in terms of the goal. This is Threlfo. Borsch to Crofton. To Heap. They've got to just retain some possession here as Edwards puts pressure on Borsch. And now they've got to clear. Cooper, she might have a look. This is Caristar with a magnificent ball over. The finish from Etherington was off target and was offside as well. Brilliant conditions tonight for football. Synthetic pitch. That's a poor ball again. Caristar gets the 1-2 off Edwards, which sends her wider than she wants. Caristar to Edwards first time. To the right-hand side. They started the first half, second half like they have the first in Illawarra. They're just all over the Jets, putting their stingers everywhere, and the Jets just can't keep up at this stage. It's the pace and the swarm of the Stingrays when they go forward and the tracking when they go back in defence. They're just marking the players so wonderfully well. Edwards receives a beautiful pass from Cooper again, the maestro. She conducts everything that's very good in this team, Caitlin Cooper. Whereas Jets' attack's been a little bit stagnant tonight. Over the top ball. This might be good for Collins. Collins, Hammond. You can see the body language. A little bit off from Milan Hammond tonight. Caristal. Chloe Middleton. Ella Giles. Etherington takes a nice touch to get away from the defender, but well scouted in the end. I think a win for the Jets this evening will be a 0-0 draw in this second half, or even if they can peg a goal back. Personally, don't see them getting 3 goals. Not against this defence if they've conceded 2 all year. I can't see 3 being scored this evening. But if they can get 1, it'll be a win for Ryan Campbell's side in the second half. Be about the only positive to come out of it tonight, to be perfectly honest. Being well below par. We've still got about 40 minutes to try and correct the ledger as Middleton gets another turnover ball. Caristal. That was Cooper, actually. Going in nicely there was Collins. Caristal goes down in the challenge. Navarcrofton travelling. Ball to Hammond. Great intervention there by the defender. That was Poppy Hooks. You can see why they've only conceded 2 in a season. They work for each other and they know what each other's game looks like. Illawarra very resolute. Corner to Newcastle. Can they get one here? Touch was intelligent. That was, I believe it was Breyer. This might be Breyer now. Actually, it might have been Collins. Ball in hope more than anything else. Trying to retrieve it. Hammond. Shot from Breyer from distance. That was quite ingenious, quite industrious from India Breyer, but wide of the mark, and it's still 3-0 here at Lake Macquarie. Well, the task doesn't get any easier for Newcastle Jets next week. They're playing Apia Leichhardt at 6:30, away from home. They'll need to improve on this performance if they're going to be any chance of picking up a point over there. Apia Leichhardt, one of the most dangerous sides, the runners-up last season and currently in 5th spot in the NPL Women's. Milan Hammond trying to make an effective tackle, and she does. Turns through, goes to here. It's a chance for the Jets now. Collins rounds the keeper and finishes with absolutely superb aplomb. And there's one back for Newcastle. Is that the spark they need? 3-1 the scoreline. 55 minutes, 53 minutes gone in this contest. Well, that was out of absolutely nothing. Alexis Collins received a wonderful pass from Milan Hammond, and her finish was indicative of such a good year she's had so far. That's her 3rd goal for the season. Might actually be her 2nd. I'll have to have another look at that. Pretty sure she's scored 3 goals for the year now. 3-1. It probably lifts Illawarra out of their slumber. They've been in cruise mode for about 30 minutes. It was a great finish from Collins. Just having a quick look at it on the replay there, it was a sublime ball from Milan Hammond. And Milan Hammond, she's the one that can create the spark for the Jets. She was been very lacklustre in the first half. But that attack on the football to get the loose ball out of the defence was one that they needed as Bates rides the challenge, the Raging Cajun. Here's Collins now. They look like they're starting to lift. Hammond in the middle. Breyer on the outside. Breyer being taken on by two defenders. Ball comes in, nicely headed away by Giles. Corner to the Jets. Little bit of a spell here from Newcastle. Well, that was their third goal they've conceded this season, Illawarra. Stephen Gordon would be disappointed with the conceding of the goal, but they are extremely good in defence. I have talked the Jets out of this one so far. They're still 3-1 down. Ball comes in, well defended. The numbers were outstanding. Look at Chloe Middleton's just overhit. Unlucky. Just saw her streaming out of defence there. Substitution, Newcastle. Just seeing who's coming off. I think it's the 11, Nava Crofton. She takes no further part in this game. And we're going to see a substitution here for Newcastle. We'll get the number for you very shortly. Pretty sure it's not Aaliyah Kilroy because I know who she is. We'll get a look at her shortly as Edwards feeds one to Bicknell. It's Sophie Howarth, the number 4. So Bicknell. Beautiful pass, Cooper. Tried to get the return ball. This is Layla Etherington, who scored a great goal in the 36th minute. Middleton now tries a luck. She's going to try a luck. Gets a block. Real chance now. Newcastle just need to play a little bit of composed football for a bit here. Work themselves back into 3-1. If they get themselves to 3-2, then anything's on here. Collins down the wing. Hammond looks like she's in the middle. That's a good change if it is so from Ryan Campbell. And it was called at half-time by Stephen Roberts, the cameraman. Put Milan Hammond in the middle and take Alexis out to the wing, he says. Bit of ESP between cameraman and coach. Nevertheless, this is Breyer. Look at those sneaky feet from the former Macarthur Ram. That's a bit heavy from Alexis Collins there. Nisbet. And they're out here, the Illawarra Stingrays through Bicknell. Bicknell to Siobhan Edwards. And flying down the outside there is Alexis Carastal. Bit of a battle going on, and that was intelligently done by Threlfo. Carastal was running at the rate of knots down the right wing, and if it got to her, she would have been unopposed. That was a gut-busting run from the 10. Hammond calling for it here on the near side. Plenty of time. Still got half an hour in this half to go, and some change. That looked offside, and it is. Tell you what, sign up to be a referee today, that's for sure. Get the opportunity if you're good enough to referee games like this one. Best state league competition for women in New South Wales, the NPL New South Wales. These referees at Lake Macquarie, every week I see them, they do a terrific job. Free kick to Illawarra. Etherington keeps it in, a bit lazy on the defence. Etherington again with a shot. And Bosch with a save. She had to make it. Probably made up for the third goal. She had to make that save. Once again, the players are making it very difficult for me to pick a 3-2-1 at the end of the game. There's been some outstanding performances in this game. Short ball to Etherington. Beautiful ball in. That's a wicked ball. Newcastle get it away. Throw in Illawarra. As I said, Newcastle Jets have Apia Leichhardt next week. The Illawarra Stingrays play on Saturday, Easter Saturday at 3:10 p.m. against Bulls FC away from home. Not as big a trip as the trip down Wollongong to Sydney to Newcastle, but it's a trip nonetheless. Hammond, lazy touch there, but she'll recover. She's got these sublime skills, Milan Hammond. When she's switched on, she can do wonderful things. That is a great ball over the top. Breyer striding into the box. Collins looking at trying to defend it. Here is Austin. Still Breyer brings it in. That was a very, very hard header there by Sharp, which didn't go very far at all. Sharp retrieves. Eventually after Hammond. Brings it in, and the keeper will deal with that one. Kiara Roche, who won't be going home with a clean sheet today. I reckon she was putting her money on it after half time. She'd be very disappointed to have conceded. This is Throlfo. Chooses to let the ball bounce. Now she's got to do something. Decision to make, and she's done it quite well. Bates now. Gets caught on the ball. Middleton! That could have been so easily 4-1. Emma Bates, I would have to say, and I don't like saying it because I really like how she plays, this has not been her best game. Just got to steady up. Gee, that ball was dangerous. Here's a chance for Bicknell now. They're almost conspiring to give the Stingrays a goal here, the Jets, with the way they're passing out. Long shot hooks. That wasn't going to trouble too many. I might have even gone out there and saved that one. Nesbitt. Miscontrol. Hooks. Miscontrol too. Collins with it. Target player holds up. Bates. Can she weave some of that quarterback work? Strong challenge in there by Carastal. Breyer now. Etherington defending. Breyer going in between and past Middleton. That was Wallandow. Pass it hit her. Howarth with the first real meaningful touch. Dobson back out to Breyer. Needs to go quicker. Milan Hammond in the middle. And it just misses Hammond and goes into the grateful arms of Roche. I wouldn't say time's running out. Still got 28 minutes to go. The Jets can get one more in the next 5 or 10, and that will create a real grandstand finish. Sharp loses the football again. Middleton and Carastal have been tremendous in midfield. Here's Edwards. She got one in the first minute. Can she get another? Beautifully taken out to Bicknell. Well challenged. That was Kate Heap with the work. Now she's got time to carry. Needs to go to the outside. That's to Collins. Collins to Hammond. Well intervened. That was brilliant by Giles. Now the football's getting a lot more willing. Carastal on the outside of the right boot. We're back to that end-to-end stuff that we got in the first half. Hooks. Gives it away to Collins, who then lets Bates retrieve it. Here goes the Raging Cajun with a long ball. The intervention was timely. It's over the top to Edwards now. Borsch off the line. Edwards to finish. And what a finish that was. Siobhan Edwards on the double. 64 minutes gone, and it's 4-1, and the lead has been restored to 3. That was terrific from Siobhan Edwards. Well, she started the game with 1 goal for the season, and now she's got 3. Her finishing tonight has been deadly. (4-1) to Illawarra. We look like we're going to have another substitution here. The assistant referee has had a pen and a notepad in his hand on the far side, looking for We're going. Here's a substitution for the Jets. Annika Driscoll's on the field now in the 77. Didn't quite see that one. I usually get the little word from Stephen. I don't know if he saw it, but he's missed it too. There you go. It was that sneaky. And here goes Edwards. She could almost chip over the top here as Borsch is off a line. Threlfo. Back to Borsch. Isabella Threlfo on the ball now for Newcastle. So Driscoll is on the field. We just have to work out who's off it. And we'll work from there. We'll get there eventually. It sort of takes a bit of time to work out players on and off. And I think that might be Lacey Dobson, who's gone down in a bit of a heap. That was a tough challenge on her. Might be Orlando that's off the field here. No, I can see her on the far side. We'll work through it. Could even be Layla. No, Layla Sharp's on the field. So it could be... we'll have to work back through that in a sec. That was Orlando out to Driscoll. Turned over. Middleton. Have to work through. He's come off in a sec. Just concentrate on the matches. Edwards. That's probably her worst pass for the match. and that's being very critical and clutching at straws. She's been terrific. The number 8 for Illawarra. 2 goals today and has been pivotal in lots of things that have been good for Illawarra. Driscoll starting to make a menace of herself in the middle there. Here's Nisbet. Not a great touch. Let's heap in. Goes in between the two. Probably should have gone left inside to Sharp, but tried to go herself. This is Bicknell now. This is the experience and age of the players. And riding off the defensive there was Etherington very nicely, but thought she might have been fouled by the defender, Orlando. But play on, says the referee. Is Emma Bates off the field? The number 9. That's the one I can see that's not on. I think we might have solved the mystery. Emma Bates off the field for Newcastle Jets as a second sub. I wouldn't have expected that today. Threlfo on Edwards. Edwards has got it. Edwards tries to turn on the inside of Howarth and she does the job. And then releases poorly to Middleton. And just hasn't been their night, Newcastle, as Nisbet travels down the field here at Lake Macquarie. Gets the 1-2 from Carastal. Looks to deliver. Bicknell. Bicknell has it taken off her. Heap to Hammond. Hammond trips over the football. Free kick Illawarra. Well, they needed to get the first goal of the second half, Newcastle. They did that through the agency of Alexis Collins in the 53rd minute. But what they didn't need to do is concede again, and they have in the 64th. And with about 22 minutes to go, dare say this one might be over in terms of a contest. The Jets absolutely have to be the next to score. Alexia Carastal on the free kick now. Low ball. Looking to play tricks on the Newcastle Jets defenders. Nisbet. That was Austin on the ball. Nice, terrific ball here to Carastal, who travels into the box. She might even go herself. Does to the near post and just misses. I think she's actually hit the post on the way through. If not, Borsch has made a fine save. She did all the right things then, Alexia Carastal. Went hard into the box and open up the space for herself to make a shot. She can certainly find the back of the net. The former Central Coast Mariner. Driscoll needs to go. That was a good ball, but sweeper keeper Roche does the job. Bicknell on Heap. Sharp tracks back to Threlfo. Get a bit of a time to have a breath in this game. We'll go through the rest of the matches in round number 7. But Bicknell gets it again off the turnover. This is Layla Etherington. I reckon she should go first time. She does. That was a wicked volley. Gee, she's got some skills, Layla Etherington. I think she might have been talking to her mother or someone that resembles her mother at halftime saying, have I played all right? She hit a ripping goal in the first half. And I reckon if you watch back over this game, Layla, you've had a terrific game. Kate Heap. Threlfo. Games next week, and Easter Saturday at 3:10, the Bulls FC play the Illawarra Stingrays. Here goes Driscoll. Driscoll on the ball, trying to find a teammate. This is Hammond. She might go for one. Kate Heap on the ball now. Sharp. They're going to stride through here now, the Stingrays. By the agency of Hawks. No one's tracking back for Newcastle. They look tired in midfield. Bicknell, can she expose them? Easter Monday's games in round number 7. You've got Manly United and Northwestern Sydney Spirit at 3:30. We've got a substitution here. Coming off the field is going to be Caitlin Cooper. And that is one glorious performance from the former Matilda. An A-League player of 140 games. She scored in the 11th minute with a goal that will be remembered for its technical prowess as well as its accuracy. Just waiting to see who's come onto the field here. That's 17, looks like the number. Adelaide Thompson comes onto the field for the Stingrays. She's going to get her first touch before it was intercepted. Adelaide Thompson, 21 years old, promising midfielder, was part of the combined independent schools team of 2021. She is an attacking midfielder, so if the Jets thought they were going to get off easy with Caitlin Cooper coming off the field, they've got another thing coming in Adelaide Thompson. You can hear the crowd below me going, Addy, go Addy. That's a great foot in from Adelaide Thompson. She started. She wants to get into the starting side too. She can sense a big season ahead for Illawarra. Lovely touch to Thompson. Thompson has so much space in the middle. She's almost got a mortgage on the midfield in there. Etherington now could pull the trigger. Pops it into Edwards for a hat-trick. That is one fantastic hat-trick from Siobhan Edwards. Beautifully set up from Layla Etherington. And that's game over. 5-1 to Illawarra. 5-star display from the Stingrays. Hat-trick to Siobhan Edwards. That is a 74th minute goal, if my maths is correct. Possibly a 75th. That is one fantastic strike. That is a hat-trick to remember for Siobhan Edwards. She got one in the 48th second of the match, and she's hit 2 goals in the last 10 minutes to kill off any opportunity the Jets may have had. It's 5-1. Terrific display from Illawarra this evening. This is a side that's looking to show their premiership qualities. You can see the gap between the best and the rest in this performance this evening. So compact in defence, and when they need to spring into attack, they do so like lightning. They're going to go again here. Etherington has been a standout this evening. Here you go, Illawarra again. It's been an absolute joy to watch this team play. Who would have thought this side have only scored 6 goals in the first 5 games of the year? The way they've attacked this evening. The venom, almost like a Stingrays venom. Here goes Middleton. Now for a goal kick, and the Jets get a chance to breathe. Not another turnover that just out of time, the nick of time, Dobson got it and tries to release. That is a very good ball out to Bry with Collins in the box. Collins takes on Austin. Goes off the right, and Roche will eat those up for breakfast. The other games in the NPL next week, 3:30 Manly United, Northwest Sydney Spirit, Easter Monday. No games on the Sunday this week. Mount Druitt Town Rangers face Sydney University at 5 p.m. Sydney Olympic face Uni New South Wales at 5 p.m. And Macarthur Rams face Western Sydney Wanderers, 2 teams with the worst defensive records in the competition. Now I'd say the Newcastle Jets have taken that on after 5 goals today. And then Gladesville Ravens and Northern Tigers at 5:10. And the Jets take on RPL Leichhardt at RPL Leichhardt Lambert Park, I believe that is, at 6:30. Just word of a substitution there. I'll need to... So, I believe Landau might be... No, Illawarra. So, Helena Helios Lewis on, the number 27. And Alexia Caristal off for Illawarra. She's had a very fine stint indeed, Caristal. Should be pleased with her performance indeed. Here go the Jets with a chance. Mistouch Collins. So Helena Helios Lewis. Her last club, or her last game for the Macarthur Rams was a 2 or 3 minute cameo in the premiership win. Came on in the 118th minute. Saw some action in the grand final. Not sure if she took a penalty, but she was on the ground, the then 18-year-old, now 19-year-old, to win the grand final for Macarthur Rams. What an experience for someone of her age. She has 5 games this year in both competitions for 3 goals, all in the under 23s. And she is a real promising player, the 27 for Illawarra. Looking forward to seeing her go. It's Bicknell, Etherington. So dangerous, those two. This is Helios Lewis on heap now. And you can see this has sort of petered out a little bit for Newcastle. They need to stay interested because 5 goals could easily turn into 6 or 7 if they're not careful. They are so deadly, Illawarra. I can't believe they've only scored 6 goals this season before this game. Looking for another change again, I think. Looks like a triple substitution coming up for the Jets as Heap goes forward for the very rare time in this game. And turns it over to Middleton. And now Helios Lewis gets a chance to travel. The 19-year-old. Siobhan Edwards. That's sublime to Etherington. Cut off by Borsch. Driscoll gets in the way. Ryan Campbell with his arms folded. I don't know what he'd be thinking, but it wouldn't be good. So triple substitution. One of the players off will be the 28 of India Breyer. Her game's over. Sharp's off as well, and Milan Hammond's off as well for the Jets. And I'd say that Ryan Campbell's emptied his bench, and he's going to Marnie Duggan and Aaliyah Kilroy and Mackenzie Preston Poole in the 72. So 72, 23 and 12 replace 28, 10 and 24. If you are doing anything with your bingo cards tonight. So the bench has been emptied. This is Mackenzie Preston Poole near our screen here as it's turned over to Edwards again. I don't know how many times they've turned the ball over tonight, the Jets. It's almost like the Jets of 2 or 3 years ago. They've been playing out from the back and not doing what they've been doing. It's been not what we've seen this year. So Mackenzie Preston Poole, I believe it might be her first game in the NPL women's competition. And she'll get about 10 or 12 minutes to show Ryan Campbell that she can get more minutes in this competition. Jets with a chance now. Mackenzie Preston Poole streaming up the middle. Roche dives on the football and brings it down to safety. Tremendous display tonight from Illawarra. I expected a good team, and I know Stephen expected it, but we expected better from Newcastle tonight. I can say that. They've played a lot better than this, and hopefully this will be the worst performance they put up this season as Middleton travels. I reckon she could shoot. Edwards for 4 goals. Hits the side netting. Well, I reckon Siobhan Edwards has made my choice for 3 votes. Very simple this evening. 3 votes for mine. If Mark Stavroulakis is listening, mate, you can chalk 3 votes down to Siobhan Edwards of the Illawarra Stingrays for mine. She's kicked 3 goals. She probably could have kicked another 2, if I'm being frankly honest. She's been amazing tonight. Sort of display that Stephen Gordon would have been expecting all year. But he hasn't quite seen 6 goals in the first 5 games, and they've kicked 5 goals in the next one. Eight and a half minutes to go here at Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility. Hope you're enjoying all the action on the Football New South Wales YouTube page. Stephen Roberts bringing you the best pictures in NPL New South Wales, and Ashley Borgie, the broadcaster, here on the mic. Loving every second of this competition and what it brings. Here's Preston Poole, Mackenzie. Nice ball into the box. That was probably the most dangerous attack from Newcastle for about 20 minutes. Substitution for Illawarra. And Chloe Middleton, who will be probably a little bit unlucky when I go to do the votes this evening. She has had one hell of a game. She goes off the field, and Layla Etherington for mine is duking it out for 2 or 1 vote from mine too. She's been outstanding tonight. She scored a brilliant goal in the 36th minute, and she set up another. She goes off the field. We'll just have a look and see who's come on for Illawarra very shortly. As the Jets are on the ball here through Kate Heap. And that ball will just go to Roche. Just trying to still have a look here to... Could be Annabella Pinkard could be on the field in the 25. We'll just have to look for her. She's one of the subs. Sophie Emery won't be one. This is Siobhan Edwards looking for 4 goals. And I'll tell you what, that was probably the most clear-cut one of the 4 that she's just missed. Okay, so number 2's come onto the field for Illawarra. That is Tara Cannon, who played in the under-23s before. And 23 has come on, Kate McPherson, for Illawarra as well. So, welcome to the game, Kate McPherson and Tara Cannon. Kate McPherson's one of the more experienced players in the side from the Bankstown City Club originally, moving to the Illawarra for her football. It's been really remiss of me tonight not to mention a particular player, Kalia Austin, the 27-year-old who will be who's lighting up the field tonight, but she'll be lighting up the dance floor on the 31st of May at the Wollongong Entertainment Centre as one of the stars of Wollongong for the Cancer Council's dance-off at Wollongong Entertainment Centre on the 31st of May. She does have a page. She hasn't asked me to do this, but such is the devastation of cancer, I feel compelled to say it. If you Google her name, Kalia Austin, as we see the shot go over the top there from Dobson, I believe that was. If you go to, her name is spelled Kaleah and then Austin, Austin. If you Google her name and Google Stars of Wollongong, you'll be able to donate to her Cancer Council Dance-Off Fund. And I wish you all the best, Kalia, if you're watching this broadcast back later on this evening or at home tomorrow. 27-year-old, she works at the Port Kembla coal mine as a truck driver and practicing her dance moves for the big night. She's had a pretty solid game tonight, the number 13, the club captain of the Stingrays. Been really remiss of me not to mention that. I was doing some preparation this afternoon for this match, and when I read that, I felt absolutely compelled to read that out. So if you've got any spare change, or if you want to donate to a great cause for Kalia Austin's dance-off in the Stars of Wollongong, make sure you Google her name and click on the relevant link for the Cancer Council. Here's Mackenzie Preston Pull. I reckon she should pull the trigger. She's gone back in the inside to Collins. He's taken an eternity here. There's a shot on target by Marnie Duggan, who hit a great shot with a left foot against Bulls FC, or was it Manly United? I honestly thought Mackenzie Preston Pull should have pulled the trigger then. Corner to Newcastle. Opportunity for a consolation. Deep into the last 4 minutes of this one. That's a top corner. Wow, the delivery on that. How has no one touched it? Well, someone's touched it. A referee saw it. I didn't have my binoculars on it. I would have needed those plus a bit more magnifying, I'd suggest. Here go the Jets again with another corner. Well headed away. That was Poppy Hooks. That's Dobson. Turned it over. Siobhan Edwards looking for another goal. She'd do well to get a fourth. We don't do interviews after games, but if we could do one with her, first question I'd ask her would be, number one, we're expecting a hat-trick at the start of the game, and have you ever scored any more than 3 in a match? As Duggan now goes down the field. Few in the box for Newcastle. Very timid ball in, and Roche has another clean carry to take with her. Well, she didn't get the clean sheet she wanted today from Newcastle, but Kiara Roche has certainly turned in a very fine performance as the keeper this evening. This person, best on ground, Siobhan Edwards. Helena Halios-Lewis in the middle, and she's the only one in the middle. Illawarra haven't taken the foot off the pedal by any stretch. There's the club captain there, Kalia Austin. Not going to show us any dance moves, but she will show us how to throw a ball in from a sideline throw. Driscoll does well defending it and wins the throw for the Jets. She's been lively since she's been on, Annika Driscoll. Counting down to the last minute of this one. We're into the last minute just about now. It actually says we're into the final minute. Actually, on the YouTube page, we've just been shown by Stephen, we're into the 90th minute. So they've added a minute here. Scoreboard's telling me 50 seconds to go. I've got 50 seconds to go. We'll see what the ref says. The ref's the only one that matters here. Someone started it early. Well, the Jets would probably want the whistle to go quite quickly here. It's been a disappointing night from them. Collins has tried hard, but she's had no one really to support her tonight. Breyer was lively, but she's petered right out of this contest. Collins. Oh, that was a cheeky ball to Preston Poole, who's been lively too. Her movement in and around the box and out on the wing's been good for Newcastle. So Newcastle Jets going to Apia Leichhardt next week in round number 7, and on Monday night, Easter Monday, and the Illawarra Stingrays go to the Bulls FC in Northbridge at Saturday at 3:10 p.m. just before Easter Sunday. Be able to enjoy their Easter eggs after that. But they're going to go to the top of the ladder tonight with a brilliant performance. 4-goal win is just superb away from home. They started it early and they have finished with brilliance as well. Their composure on the ball, their defence, their passing around the midfield and their hard work and their running, their gut running has been a feature of this contest. Giles to Edwards, trying to feed. This is Cannon and cleared away by Borch. Maybe it's been the fact I've changed the pronunciation of Borch. It's been the difference for the Jets. I don't know. I'm going to rack my brain over it after this game, I have to say, because it's been a performance that we have not seen this year at Lake Macquarie, and I know I haven't seen on the YouTube page in away games this season. It's been very much subpar. Ryan Campbell will have some work to do during the week before they go to Apia Leichhardt. Giles has been brilliant in defence. This is Helios Lewis with one of the final touches of the game. Edwards could go over the top here. No, she holds it. She's going to try and strike it. That was a good effort from Edwards. It deserved it. She's been superb. Waiting on the referee now to finalise proceedings here. Jets, can they get a consolation? That was a tough challenge. Austin clears. That was Tara Cannon with a very tough challenge for Illawarra. She's come on and she's not mucking around, that's for certain. Looks like McPherson there. No, that was Adelaide Thompson. A 5-star performance for Illawarra Stingrays tonight. They've been far too good for the Newcastle Jets. Siobhan Edwards with a magnificent hat-trick. She started off proceedings after 48 seconds. Caitlin Cooper with one of the best goals you'll see this weekend after 11 minutes. Layla Etherington wasn't too far behind after 36. It was 3-0 at half-time. Alexis Collins came out after the break, scored one for the Jets to make it 3-1 after 53 minutes. But it was the Siobhan Edwards show here at Lake Macquarie. She put goals away after 64 minutes and 74 minutes to make the final score here at Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility this evening. Illawarra Stingrays 5, Newcastle Jets 1. We'll go into round number 7 with Newcastle going to Apia Leichhardt on Monday and Illawarra taking on Bulls FC on Saturday. Hope you have a wonderful week ahead, everybody, and we'll see you next week for round 7.